A rumor storm rocks Washington as unverified claims around President Trump's health spread rapidly across social media platforms. Trump hospitalization rumors sweep social media platforms worldwide, gaining traction despite complete lack of supporting evidence. Walter Reed National Military Medical Center trends heavily online, fueling widespread panic and speculation about the president's condition. Road closures near the facility and sudden White House press lid ignite shocking narratives amid the ongoing Iran war tensions. White House launches urgent damage control efforts as health-related rumors continue to spiral uncontrollably online. Rumors swirled over the Easter weekend that Donald Trump was abruptly rushed to a hospital, triggering a brief wave of speculation about the US president's health. However, as the president's medical condition has come under scrutiny, available information suggests a very different story from the online narratives that circulated. Some users on X claimed that Trump had been admitted to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, sometimes citing vague or unverified fragments of information. The phrase Walter Reed quickly began trending on X, even though there was no official confirmation or verifiable evidence to back the hospitalization claims. The rumor appears to have originated from a mix of unrelated developments that were misinterpreted or conflated in online discussions. First, there were reports of local road closures near Walter Reed in Maryland, leading some users to speculate these were linked to a high-level medical emergency. Second, the White House placed a routine lid on press activity for a short period, a standard internal communications procedure used during sensitive time windows. While both developments are normal when taken in isolation, they were combined into a misleading narrative that suggested something out of the ordinary was happening. As the speculation spread rapidly, the White House moved quickly to push back against the claims and clarify the situation. The communications director publicly denied the hospitalization rumors, stating that Trump remained active and in working order at the White House. Further undermining the online claims, Trump himself continued to be active on Truth Social, posting and interacting with his supporters during the same period. Amid the ongoing war with Iran, this is not the first time reports of a possible internal cover-up or information control have surfaced inside discussions about the White House. A growing controversy is unfolding over claims that the Pentagon has been underreporting U.S. casualties in the ongoing conflict with Iran. An investigation by The Intercept suggests the true scale of U.S. losses in the region is significantly higher than what has been officially acknowledged so far. The report claims nearly 750 U.S. troops have been killed or wounded in the Middle East since October 2023, including both combat and non-combat incidents. However, figures released by U.S. Central Command appear incomplete, raising concerns that Washington may be engaged in a form of casualty cover-up. For instance, a CENTCOM statement citing 303 wounded U.S. troops undercounts multiple recent attacks, including those involving Iranian missile and drone strikes on bases. CENTCOM has also not updated the official death toll of U.S. troops in this war, leaving the last confirmed figure at 15 with no clear explanation for the gap. Defense officials and independent analysts have criticized the lack of transparency, arguing it hides the full human cost of the conflict from the public and Congress. Jennifer Kavanagh said, and I quote, "CENTCOM and the White House should be providing accurate and timely information on the costs and casualties involved in this war. After all, it is American taxpayers who are funding it and U.S. economic prosperity and economic well-being that is being undermined by it." The U.S. president has acknowledged that casualties are inevitable in any conflict, even as he continues to push for more aggressive military operations in the region. At the same time, Trump has signaled that the war could end within weeks, even though many of the stated strategic objectives have not yet been met. The conflict has seen Iranian missile and drone attacks on multiple U.S. bases across the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia to Jordan and Iraq. These attacks have exposed vulnerabilities in U.S. military infrastructure, particularly the lack of sufficient hardened shelters for troops and equipment. Critics argue the Pentagon failed to adequately prepare for such retaliation, despite years of warnings about Iran's growing long-range strike capabilities. The situation has forced some U.S. troops to relocate from exposed military bases to civilian locations such as hotels and commercial compounds. This shift has raised further concerns about the risk of civilian sites becoming de facto military targets in the event of additional Iranian strikes. Additional incidents, including injuries aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford, may not yet be reflected in the official casualty counts released by the Pentagon. Beyond uniformed troops, contractors working with U.S. forces have also reportedly been injured or killed in the course of operations. Official statistics show that almost 12,900 contractors were injured while working on US base operations in 2024 alone. Analysts warn that if these contractor figures are added to the existing military casualty estimates, the total number of casualties linked to US operations could exceed 13,000.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.